Hey y'all, I'm popping on to share my part of the journey in exploring new things, investing in new territory, and taking the risk to let our dreams come to life. Jonathan is totally the can-do, hustle, get it done guy. I discovered today that it has only been 30 days since we built our first raised bed, and now we have 256 square feet of raised bed and 2,500 square feet of row gardening in place. And all of this transformation occurred in the last 30 days. So that's a massive explosion of transformation. And I really attribute that a lot to Jonathan's hustle, our ability to work together, and it's just been super fun to see that come to life. I've also had a few of you ask me to just talk a little bit more about the research phase. How did we decide to step into this? Who even gets the idea of converting their suburban lawn into a garden, and why? Why did we do that? And just thinking about some of our story along the way, that there's some keys that have surfaced for me. First of all, don't discount starting something small wherever you are and whatever it is. One of the first keys that I really feel like played into our story is just starting where you are. Begin where you are. So Jonathan mentioned in our first video that 8 years ago, where we were was in a row home in Baltimore City. And we didn't have any land to work with. We had a concrete raised bed. So we started there and we planted strawberries and we planted flowers and we tried to steward that space the best that we knew how at that time. We started and we had no idea that we would be planting something like 60 strawberry plants 8 years later on nearly 2 acres of land. But because we planted strawberries then, I really believe that connected with us. Now that memory, that experience, that history connected with us. And I'm so glad that we started where we were and that it didn't have to have a certain shape or a certain expression, but we were able to just begin with what we had. Our next opportunity came in this growth process when we moved to Fort Mill. And I would say that part of the journey was the exploration and the discovery part of the journey, that I was able to lean into an inspiration that was already there. So in the property that we got, it had an old 4x8 raised bed in the backyard, completely overgrown, and it just served as a spark of an inspiration. And so it just begged to be dealt with. It begged to be transformed. And so I reluctantly, apprehensively stepped into transforming that raised bed. So I pulled all the stuff out of it, cleared it out, and I started trying to figure out what I could put in there. So I put some stuff in there and I didn't achieve anything really with it. You know, we didn't even eat a lot of food out of it or anything like that. But I gained an experience and an exploration, and it changed me. There's something about stepping into that changed me. I realized I could grow some things. I got to experience what it was like to see a bean plant grow and what did it look like. Maybe you guys know, maybe you grew up gardening, or maybe that's not such a new thing. But for me, that was brand new. I had grown very little things in my life history, and I didn't know the life cycle of a plant. I didn't know what it looked like. So it was all this massive discovery for me, and it tampered with me. It changed me. The other couple of keys that I feel like have emerged as I've looked at our journey is when they showed up when I got to this property here in Greenville, South Carolina. So when we came here, there was no inspiration to leap off of. It was purely based on vision that we had cultivated and we had carried and that we had explored over the last several years. And it wasn't it didn't appear anywhere on the property. There were no jump ins, there were no pre-existing 4x8 beds. There was a lot that had to be hauled out. And instead of it taking one day, it was about a year and a half of taking out the old so that we could have a space to create what was in our hearts. So the next challenge of this property was for us to carry the vision all by ourselves, that we couldn't rely on the property to present the vision. It was us that had to carry that vision and to step into seeing it come to life. Now, something else that I discovered that has springboarded us into this situation is making an investment before you know that it's worth it. So that's something I think Jonathan and I are pretty good at. We're good at taking a risk on investing in something based on the vision that's in our heart, and not because we have a guarantee that it's going to be worth it. Take, for example, when we moved in, I contended for us to get a John Deere 1025R compact tractor. It looked ridiculous. I could feel the judgment that we had bought some fancy tractor to mow the lawn. It was complete overkill. But now it looks like an invaluable tool and has serviced us to be able to do the things that we've wanted to do in building our beds, clearing our land, and doing the work of cultivating this property. Now it makes total sense. But 2 years ago, it looked over the top and like a silly investment. But I'm so glad that we did that. We invested based on a future need and a future desire. Jonathan will get to tell you in another video about an investment he made in cultivating woodworking skills and acquiring tools. That was a complete leap with no prior experience or no confidence that that was going to be something that would be worthwhile or successful. Yet because he was willing to take the risk and to cultivate that part of his life, it's now enabled us to see these particular dreams of creating that sustainable lifestyle, building chicken coops, building mobile coops, building out gardens and things. We've been able to see those things come to life because he took the risk, bought the tools, leaned on some friends. I hope that some part of our journey has resonated with you. Are you ready to start something from right where you are? Are you ready to explore without knowing what the end is going to be? Will you invest before you know you're going to get a payout? We would love to hear more from you and what particular dreams you are carrying in your heart. Where do you feel like you are on that journey to seeing those things come to life? Comment in the comment section below. We really would love to hear your story and see what parts connect with you. So thanks so much for going on the journey with us. We can't wait to see where we're going to go and how this will all unfold and what will come to life from it.